Welcome to the Friday Payroll Club.
It is your go-to podcast for everything that's happening in the world of temporary labour, payroll and compliance.
We're your hosts, Arron and James.
And of course, welcome to the club. We are back into Season 2, Episode 1, the Friday Payroll Club, Arron. We're back.
Whoop, whoop.
Back in the saddle.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back.
It's been a little while, coming into end of February. We gave ourselves a little bit of time off in between end of 25 into the beginning of 2026, and Christmas feels a bit like a lifetime ago already, doesn't it?
For sure it does.
No rest for the wicked.
No, we needed that month. We've got a lot going on, as you mentioned. But yeah, Christmas wasn't long enough. But here we are.
Indeed. And this year on the show, we have got some phenomenal external guests lined up, as well as hearing from within the four walls of Bar 2. And we've learnt a lot. I mean, Season 1, first year of the project. This year, we're coming back with a bang. Learned a heck of a lot that we're going to try to implement from the get-go. But then equally, we're still coming into this project with an open mind on what works well and what people want to hear about when we're talking around payroll, compliance, and all of the lovely things that happen in this world that is the gig economy. Yeah. So, but yeah, look, it's we've got a pretty exciting Q1 ahead. We're in February now, so kind of very, very soon around the corner. Obviously, we have JSL, the big legislative elephant in the room.
Yeah.
And obviously I think a lot of people are already keeping their ear to the ground on this, and naturally as an umbrella company we need to be doing the same, and that's kind of what a lot of the episodes in at least in the first part of this year are going to be focused on, aren't they, Arron?
Yeah, rightly so. That's, to be honest, all, as you said, everyone is talking about is that the employment rights
is coming up as well.
Yes.
Some big industry moving moments for sure. Mm-hmm. And I think we've already spoken a little bit in this on episodes just to understand what people are going to be doing in the run-up. Obviously now we're kind of in the final weeks towards the change, and it does feel as though this year's more about not necessarily doing more, but showing your work, isn't it? It's about audit ready, making sure that people have got the right processes in place and documenting them when they do, and just getting themselves ready, because April is set to be a bit of a monumental moment, especially in that agency, end client, payroll or finance. This year is going to touch you in some form of way. In March, we've got our event coming up, and it is all around navigating the change in 2026. So if you're in the industry, just wanted to make sure that you've got the right processes in place ahead of the legislation changes, this event would be worthwhile in you attending. If you can't attend, we are going to be recording it. We're going to be putting it out on an episode of the podcast, as well as doing all the stuff on the socials that you come to expect. So looking forward to running through that when we get there. And on today's episode, we're going to give you a little bit of a sneak peek of some of the themes that will be uncovered, as well as an introduction to some of the panelists who are going to be joining us on the day. So, compliance has moved from the back office to the boardroom this year, hasn't it, Arron?
Yeah, I don't know about you, but for the phone calls I'm making, I can already feel the tone shift a little bit in the industry. Last year it was a lot more speculation. What might happen? Will it land? How serious will it be? This year already this month and a half is feeling a lot more serious, is heavier. So the conversations I'm having aren't necessarily theoretical, they're practical, commercial, accountability-led. They're less curious and more ownership-focused. And genuinely, I think if you operate in temporary labour in any capacity, agency, end client, payroll, finance, this year is going to matter to you.
It's well said, Arron. And I think to strip it back, JSL, let's put it in layman's terms, effectively it means that if tax or pay or employment obligations haven't been met somewhere in your supply chain, liability doesn't automatically stop at the umbrella company. Mm-hmm. And historically, many businesses assumed that responsibility ended there. Yeah. And I think that's what's now being tested, that assumption that just because an umbrella company hasn't been called out means that my responsibility and my checks are done. It means that outsourcing your payroll as part of your temporary workforce supply chain doesn't mean that you're able to offload that responsibility and checks that you're meant to be doing.
Yeah, you can no longer outsource the liability.
We've seen it before that businesses kind of hide behind badges, and I don't think that's going to necessarily equal immunity. It's about every part of that supply chain being able to show they're working out. And equally, April isn't when this should have started. It's just when it's now going to become clearer when it's not been done. Arron, you have a lot of conversations. What do you think people are underestimating at the moment around JSL?
Good question, mate. Yeah, I think some agencies that I've spoken to, perhaps have underestimated how quickly the scrutiny can escalate with this. So it's not just about HMRC knocking on the door. I think that might be the end product of the scrutiny, but it's going to start with the internal kind of domino effect. So your clients asking questions, insurers asking questions, finance teams asking for documentation, because all of a sudden you've got to fulfill a few questionnaires and audits that your clients are asking you. And perception matters. So even being associated with supply chain failure can damage commercial relationships regardless of the legal outcome.
Yeah. I mean, we had a conversation last week with someone shared an example that a contractor actually said, they weren't going to use a specific umbrella because of the headlines and because of the research that they'd done. So they kind of wanted to go to this other particular provider because of external reviews and things like that. So it just shows that, poor actors or bad actors that have a direct impact on your agency brand can have a pretty big impact on contractors, where we're in a short supply market, people are desperate for contractors and candidates. If that bad word of mouth is spread based on someone as part of your supply chain being non-compliant, it can have a devastating impact on your potential supply.
Everyone has got an expert researcher and a lawyer available to them in their pockets at all times. So I think that perception that we spoke about really does matter and will matter more now.
Yeah, definitely more informed people in the market, regardless if that's a buyer or a user of your service. People are making much more informed decisions before they're engaging, which I think is just going to continue as more of this tech comes out. And do you think there's been any kind of overstepping reactions or like knee-jerk? I mean, historically, a lot of people kind of wait for the last minute and then rip everything else and change it. Like, what are you seeing from your conversations as?
I've seen that happen in the past. We've got...
like IR35.
I've seen examples of overreaction with a company where... new legislation's coming in, and all of a sudden it means ripping everything up and starting again overnight, which is not what this means. It means reviewing, documenting, strengthening your processes, calm preparation.
Yeah, sure.
So not about panic moves, it's about disciplined moves.
And I think that's why we're hosting our event in March is, this is it's a balanced conversation that needs to happen around this. We've heard or we've seen people online using this as a scare tactic moment. We've seen people trying to leverage this as a sales pitching exercise. And I think our perspective on this is that actually, no, this needs a steady, not overreacting or equally not underreacting. It needs to be a grounded discussion. And it's going to impact kind of multiple facets of a business, not just revenue, but finance, operations, legal, tax, compliance. All of these things are going to be impacted by this. So it needs, the right heads and the right conversation around it. And from our perspective, it's a structured, grounded discussion across those elements, not just a ad hoc blog about why we should move umbrella providers. So we're really excited to be hosting our event at the Goldsmith Centre in Farringdon. We've reviewed a heck of a lot of venues in London, trying to find the right place that does the best job at kind of keeping the tone of voice that we want and making sure that it's providing the right vibe for the day. Obviously, this is a pivotal moment for the industry, so the venue choice was really important as well. And we picked these guys not only because it's a beautiful venue, but because they've got quite a good set of ethics behind them as well. And they reinvest a lot of their funding straight back into young people. They've got the Jewelry Foundation program, which we actually went and saw them setting up for one of their expos. So yeah, really, really interesting, and I'm sure everyone will be impressed when we get there.
Yeah, I was just reading actually the hands-on training for young people and beginners to learn modern jewelry making techniques.
Yeah, exactly. They do.
You see, a lot of so mentorship and career support. So the Setting Out program. Providing graduates with dedicated professional space to develop the business and design skills, not just the jewelry making side of it, but the actual running
Yeah.
of the businesses too.
They do some really good stuff, so we're excited to welcome everyone there on the day, and super helpful. So first up, we are really excited to introduce our panel guests, and we're really excited to be able to have their perspective on their each respective areas of expertise. So we've got Hannah Morrison from Brabner's, and Hannah brings the employment law dimension, call it. Legal 500 recommended. She's got deep exposure to the recruitment industry, ranging from tribunals, grievances, discrimination cases, documentation reviews. So it's not just around kind of general tax exposure. It's all around employment documentation, internal process, data protection. All of these are the things that become very visible under scrutiny, which obviously is what JSL is about. So, legal and tax the risk doesn't operate in isolation. This is definitely going to be a worthwhile perspective to have on the day. Who else have we got joining us, Arron?
We've got Joss Lowry. Joss is always sat at the crossroads of payroll, recruitment and compliance. Obviously, he understands legislation well, but more importantly, operational reality. Leaders don't just need technical accuracy, they need clarity without paralysis. What should you actually do? Well, that's where Joss is really, really strong.
Yeah, agreed. And we've obviously had an episode with Joss back in August when the draft legislation was announced, and definitely a good little reference point there. Moving on, we've got Seb, co-founder of SafeRec, and Seb has built his career inside of the recruitment industry, and he really saw a gap between compliance expectation and visibility, because ultimately you can't evidence what you can't see, and as we've already spoken about, this is all around auditability, which is all around what SafeRec do. Transparency is becoming a currency, and agencies ultimately need control, not just trust or an accreditation badge. Tell us about David, Arron.
David Harmer from Markel Tax. He has 20 plus years in tax defense as a specialty.
Mm-hmm.
IR35, umbrella legislation, CIS, HMRC inquiries. He understands what happens when HMRC actually knocks on the door. So there's prevention and then there's defense. He's seen both. So definitely going to be a strong perspective to listen to.
Yeah, 100%. And from that commercial side, commercial governance, we've got Adam Holby from More Driver Solutions. He's scaled businesses. He's worked in the umbrella and payroll space. He's managed significant P&Ls. And compliance ultimately needs to work commercially. And that's what Adam is going to be able to bring a wealth of experience on. Governance needs to support sustainable growth, not suffocate it. So I'm really excited to bring Adam and his perspective into the conversation.
Last but not least, we've got Dan Moss from MDA, aka My Digital Accounts.
Mm-hmm.
Dan brings scale and policy insight. MDA are looking after about 300,000 contractor payments a month, and they're dealing directly with HMRC consultations.
Yep.
And also Dan will have a strong understanding of both policy intent and execution reality. So for those guys, and for I think everybody, technology is becoming the evidence layer, which is where MDA can help.
And what makes this panel really, really important is it's not one dominant voice. I think we've tried to give a really broad oversight of all the different parts of your business that could take impact from this. So we've got tax, legal, commercial leadership, payroll tech, and transparency, and real world experience, all examining the same reform from different angles. So it's not to be alarmist, it's not to be dismissive, it's not to kind of cut anything off the list. It's really well balanced, and we're really grateful for the people that have chosen to dedicate some of their time to be with us on the day, and equally to the guests that we have turning up that are just eager to keep their ear to the ground. We're really grateful for that so far, because what we want right now out of this is clarity without noise.
Absolutely, mate. Session is about cutting through speculation and focusing in on practical preparation.
Yeah, awesome. And I think that sets a tone for this season as well. Obviously, the first couple of months of the year are naturally going to be anchoring around joint and several. Equally, after the fact, we're probably going to be wanting to see, like, hey, what came true? How have businesses reacted? I think Again, maybe we'll still see a little bit of reactiveness to this pivotal point, but only time will tell. All we can do is keep going out to market with, good karma, talking about it and trying to give people practical advice that they can put into their everyday work. So if you are engaging temp labor and gig workers, keep in tune over the next few weeks and months. There's going to be lots of stuff happening on the Bar2 social pages. Equally, we're still going to have spaces at our event. But coming into next month, what we were going to be doing is kind of playing back some of the stuff that we've learned from the event, and hearing straight from the panelists' mouth, as it were, highlighting the best bits from the day, highlighting some of the best questions that were asked from agency owners and guests from the day, as well as what that kind of smart preparation looks like now. And there we go. So first episode done for the year, Arron. It's good to be back, as we said earlier.
It is. I'm glad we've got the first one under our belts, mate.
Yeah, dusted the cobwebs off. It's good. We've not done a Just Me and You episode for a while, so it's good to get you back in the studio, mate. Ready for a big year ahead, fighting fit.
Up.
That's it. And of course, we're going to be there on the day. For any of our listeners, avid listeners, I'm sure, that
fans,
are going to...
I would say.
Fans. That are going to be joining us on the day. So if you do have any questions, ping them off on LinkedIn. Arron, myself, Ivy will all be happy to help, as I'm sure they will be the voices that have told you all about this moment that we're having here at Bar2. But yeah, look, moving forward, monthly episodes, last Friday of the month tends to be when we get live. And we've got some really, really exciting things ahead. Naturally, the next episode of the Friday Payroll Club will be focused on the event. You're interested in joining us, do reach out. Still a few spots left. And of course, if you're in the industry and you're in the space, do reach out if you want to be involved. Always on the lookout for guests that want to come on and talk things all contractors, compliance and payroll.
Yeah, or focus in on your business and tell us about your industry and what you guys are finding in the space.
For the first time this year, welcome to the Friday Payroll Club. We have been your hosts. My name was James.
I'm Arron.
And it's been fantastic to have you with us. And we'll see you on the next one.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye-bye.
How you doing? It's Arron. Thank you for listening to the Friday Payroll Club. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and join the conversation on Bar2's LinkedIn page.